all that money, unless you ask to carry it over, it lapses into the fund balance.
Right.
We're ready to go, Len.
So it's just a technical piece.
Here. Here.
Yep. Hang on, just give me a minute. Sorry, too much stuff coming in late. All right, I would like to call to order the Monday, March 15th meeting of the City of Winona Finance and Personnel Committee. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood,
Here.
Alder Thomas,
Here,
Mayor O'Connor.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the March 1st meeting?
so move.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none,
No.
all in favor?
I did want to note, I think that may be the first time ever that somebody's been excused from a meeting for technical difficulties.
So noted. Anything else? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. There are no appearances. There is no unfinished business. New business, item 6A, consideration of resolution 21-3-2472, award of contract for the Springhaven Pagoda Rehabilitation Project. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move to approve.
Second.
Jake, are you going to address this, or Doug? I guess Doug will address it probably. Huh?
Yes, I can just give a brief overview. So the Landmarks Commission had hired an outside consultant to develop technical documentation to be able to put this request for bid out. So this included technical engineering drawings as well as specifications and things like that. So the bids closed on March 5th, and there were 3 bids which were included in the packet in the bid tab as well. The lowest qualified bid came from Joe Daniels, who is also the lowest bid for the park project as well. I did have a chance to discuss all 3 proposals with the engineer that developed these and check that he was comfortable. Any differences, anything like that. The only difference is really in the casting of the concrete itself. There's the precast option, as well as the one that Joe Daniels is putting in place, is more of it's termed pour in place, but it would still be at their facility. It's my understanding that just sort of helps them more comfortable with that method, and it just gives them greater quality control. So this was discussed and recommended at the Landmarks Commission meeting, the March meeting last Wednesday. They made the recommendation to council and to this body. And so they did put in a couple caveats. They were concerned about the materials, the coordination, and sort of the restoration and those elements of the pagoda. They're all included within the technical documentation. So it would really just be a case of keeping the contractor to those standards and those requirements. There are requirements that, for example, that they have concrete samples to be able to see and to analyze those and to get the best fit possible. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions that this group may have.
Alder Thomas.
So is the pagoda, once they fix it, does it have a guaranteed lifetime? I mean, is it good? What happens if it starts to crumble in 2 years?
Mm-hmm. So there is, I believe it was a 1-year sort of standard warranty included. I would have to double check that. But the design did specifically include elements, particularly on the edge of the roof, kind of the lip, which I think was the biggest issue with the crumbling in the past. It includes a better way for water to pass off of the roof and sort of prevent the freeze-thaw issues as well. So drainage has kind of been accounted for. It's mainly on the underside of that edge of the roof, but that should assist. And then also with the design, the redesign of the park, the sort of issue of people jumping onto the roof and vandalism from that is hoped to be limited or eradicated as well.
Thank you.
think when I chaired, just one thing, Mark, and then I'll call on you. When I chaired landmarks, we brought in an engineer and city crew actually dug away a little bit around the foundation there and to make sure that that was all in good shape, and it was. So I think the roof was really the only issue, isn't it, Doug? The
That's
rest
correct.
pretty solid and stable. Mark, did you have something?
Yes, just so I know, there is no, the fiscal note must not get into the finance packet. But there is this pagoda is bid with the stone bridge. So if you look at the fiscal note and the stone bridge, you'll see a pagoda line under Jake's park portion. And we still, with the pagoda, the 31,000, we're still under budget by, I believe, 47,000. So 37,000. So we're still under budget with that, and it still fits within the budget.
And the actual part of the park project will involve kind of clearing away the area around the pagoda. Is that correct, Doug? So that it's not quite as easy to jump onto the roof from the side of the hill. And
Yes, the Landmarks Commission worked with the designer. There's going to be a greater, I think it's 3 feet clearance around the entirety of the pagoda. So while not impossible, it should be much more difficult to do.
Doug, did you have anything? Doug Wood?
No, I think he did a good job describing it. You know, we were talking about this project when I was chair of landmarks. So, but yeah, then the thin edge, the lip of the roof was always, you know, the most challenging part of it, I think. So.
Yeah, this is really great. I know it's been a priority of mine since I was on landmarks too, and I'm really glad we finally figured out how to do the roof. So who is going to be monitoring?
I'm already bored.
I'm sorry.
Where's my pickle asparagus?
Who's talking?
It was
Off mute.
I think it was Jerry.
Oh, okay. Doug and Jake, who's going to be monitoring that they're following some of the specifications that Doug had mentioned?
So it specifically says in the documentation that that they bid on that they need to coordinate with the engineer of record, which would be Patrick Egan, who would sort of develop these documents.
Okay.
He in his agreement that was signed, there was a flat rate fee for him to develop the documentation, as well as the same amount again sort of budgeted for consulting, on an hourly basis as needed. So he'll be there for sort of technical questions that may arise, but certainly I expect, for the key moments, I'll be on site as well as available, and I suspect Jake would be as well. But I think there's definitely some benefits here from having the same firm be able to assist with project coordination and things like that as well.
Oh, that's great. Anything else on this one? Okay, all in favor, or I guess we need Joan, do we need a roll call vote?
You're awarding a contract. It wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay, you want to
Okay.
call the roll?
Okay, so Alder Thomas,
Aye.
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 6B, consideration of resolution 21-3-2473, award of contract for Woodland Park parking lot and trail improvements. Is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Second.
Jake?
Hi, good evening, you guys. We're seeking approval for awarding the bid for improvements at Woodland Park. This will be a designated off-street parking, small parking lot that's very similar in size and scope to the one currently at the Nature Center on the east side of the property. Would define a trailhead on that side and connect existing trails, improve pedestrian steps that are leading up to the crown of the park, and then reroute a portion of the eastern side trail that would stay completely on Woodland Park property. Existing grass trail and signage is kind of going through the front yard of Tellurian and through their parking lot. This project was identified in the 2014 to 2018 capital budget, approved in the 2020 capital budget, with 50% of the funding coming through a private donation of the John and Peggy Traver family. 5 bids on this project, a competitive bid. So Low bid was Blaze Landscape Contracting. And in your packet has got the opinion of approval from our landscape architect. And we have experience with Blaze Landscaping, who did the work at Wildhaven Park.
And this is a project that was originally scheduled for last year, correct? And we pushed it back.
That's
due to the
correct.
Pandemic and all.
That is correct.
Any questions? Doug?
Just a comment. I mean, I'm obviously recognize the Travers for being willing to put up half the money for this project, but also, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it'll give a much better entrance to Woodland Park especially for hiking. That will make it more attractive and hopefully get a few more people up there hiking.
Great. Alder Thomas.
Jake, are we going to put a bench or put something up there to recognize the Travers for all they've done?
We can do that, yes. We should certainly do that. I know I've had conversations with John and Peggy. They're not necessarily too eager to be recognized for their efforts, but I know there's been talk at the Parks Board about something more substantial in the future to recognize all of their efforts over the year. And this is one of many financial donations they've given to the city.
I would not even object to calling it the Traver Trail System. They've done so much for that particular park and to preserve it and to do something that there ought to be something permanent. And as I said, even something more significant than a bench, which, has a lifetime, but if it was a trail system or naming it. So I trust your judgment on that, but I certainly would encourage it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, Joan, could you call the roll?
Yes, I can. Alder Thomas,
Aye.
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Jake. Item C, consideration of resolution 21-3-2474, authorization to apply for the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Local Assistance Grant Program. Is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Second.
Jake, again.
Thank you. So this is a opportunity that we need to have passed by the governing body to be eligible to apply for a stewardship grant through Wisconsin DNR. Those applications are due May 1st. So this is a resolution in support of the grant application for acquisition only at the San Damiano property. This grant application will be for both federal LAWCON, we call it, Land and Water Conservation funds, and the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Acquisition Program. So this resolution is a requirement for application. Also in your packet is an extension that's been granted by our regional grant specialist to finish our Park and Open Space Plan, our 5-year Park and Open Space Plan, which is also a requirement of the grant program. But with the extension, we will receive that eligibility for the grant.
Any questions on this one? Alder Wood, then Alder Thomas.
Yeah, again, it's more of a comment that I'd asked, I believe, at Parks Board about whether this money comes with strings attached or limitations on the use, and it does. Jake maybe can talk more about that.
Yeah, so stewardship funding and LAWCON funding does have the use of nature-based recreation. So it does have to be used for nature-based recreation. There are selected activities and improvements if it was a development project, but for an acquisition, it's more of a general sense of nature-based recreation for the parcel.
And in discussions with Dane County, when we do sign the agreement with them about their grant, there will be mention of these. If we get these two grants, they will be included in the agreement. So, Brian, did you have anything to add to that, or?
I don't know that it would necessarily work out that way. It may be the case that these, if we're awarded the DNR grants, they would come after we've finalized things with
Right.
Dane County. So I don't know that they'll be referenced, but they would be layered on top of one another.
Yeah, and later on they do this all the time at the county, deal with these kind of grants in addition to grants that they've made, and they have a whole process for making sure that everything is covered and who takes precedence and all that kind of thing. So. Alder Thomas.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Jake, when you gave us documentation in our packets about the fundraising and other things that we always talk about how much money you spend, but you do a tremendous job of raising money. And we don't always recognize that. And I will probably talk about it during the council meeting because I looked at your stuff and you're so good at that stuff and you're so good about getting funded. And I don't think people realize how much money you really do bring in. So thank you for this and all the other stuff you do. But don't think I'm getting soft, Jake.
I was gonna say, well, Alder Thomas, but thank you. I appreciate that.
In fact, did I hear that in terms of the Parks Department budget, that your fees and fundraising or whatever bring in like 50% of?
That is correct, Mayor.
Budget?
Yeah, for total revenue to expenses operating 50%.
And typical for a park?
National average is 35%.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty impressive.
So I may bring that up at the council meeting just so all the elders can hear it.
I think that would be a good idea. Any other questions about this one? Then hearing none, I guess what all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next and final item, acceptance of general fund accounts payable checks dated February 26th through March 11th, 2021. Documentation of invoices paid is available in the city clerk's office. Mr. Hotaker. You're muted.
Step off mute, Mark.
Not a ton of stuff, but just gonna hit on some major ones. Page 42, actually Burleson, city attorney. That's first month of, that's the first month for January. That actually cost us down. That's below average. That's a good number. Page 43, Capital Underground, since equipment with operator. That's when we have the water main break. We have to contract with Capital to help with the water main breaks for the equipment. Page 44, Dino, dock, and lift, taking out the piers, removing the piers. Page 45, GEC. This is General Engineering Company. This is the January billing. They still are fairly busy with doing work over at the riverfront. Page 47, Northland Door System, says Dream Park door replacement. That is a capital item. That's part of the settlement money that was approved. They approved the renovation over at the Dream Park, the updates. Page 48, Strand. Strand does a lot of our engineering for our capital projects. These are some of the projects that are going on, they've been working on for us. Page 50, Hackett Appraisal. They are in the process of doing appraisals right now. They're doing the assessments. They'll come out in the next couple of months. Advanced disposal, I went ahead on that. The rebate. I don't know if you noticed, the rebate is at $3,700. At one time, we were down to almost $1,400. So I'm not sure what the market's doing. Why it's clearly a lot more recyclables. If the market has increased, I actually didn't follow up with Dan with that. But it's doubled what it has been in the past. So
We'll take it.
we'll take that. Kind of most of what I have. I don't have any other ones that stood out.
Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the bills?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.